I have a set of videos. I have a playlist of videos if you're on my YouTube page where I am juxtaposing the whining and complaining that men do online and put that against what women are going through in the real world, in reality, the violence women face. So, this particular post could be triggering. Actually, it will be triggering because I am going to talk about some sensitive topics. There's violence. But I am going to start with this man's post, and this was asked in the Ask Indian Men subreddit. Their subreddits, the Indian men subreddits are wild, but this is an Indian man asking this question. Why shame men who prefer women with no past if the past truly doesn't matter? The way Indian men are red pilled, even though there is such a gender disparity and there are so many more millions of men than there are women, would make you think that they should be a little bit more pleasant. But no, this is how they speak. So this man says, all right, feminists and simps, I'll go along with the idea that a woman's past doesn't matter, that sleeping around is somehow empowering, and that women with a long list of partners are actually more qualified for marriage because they've got experience, sure. And of course, anyone who disagrees or even raises the question is immediately labeled an incel, a misogynist, or worse. But here's what I don't get. If it's all so glorious and empowering, why is there so much effort to hide that past when it comes to serious relationships or marriage? If it's such an achievement, why not be loud and proud about it to your future husband? And while we're at it, if the past truly doesn't matter, why get so angry at men who simply prefer women without one? Isn't it just their preference? Why not just marry one of those guys you were so empowered with? If he was good enough to sleep with, why isn't he good enough to settle down with? And yeah, I know someone's going to say, but men sleep around too. Sure. It maybe take 5 minutes to look up something called gatekeeper theory before using that as a gotcha. Anyway, just genuinely trying to understand how all of this adds up. He's not trying to understand anything. He put a whole lot of he put a whole lot in there, and none of it actually even makes sense to me. I'm not even an Indian woman, but I highly doubt that they're out here sleeping around like he is acting like. And I highly doubt that they're saying, you know what, I've slept with this many people and I'm loud and proud about it. I doubt this, and I'm not even of this culture, but I do have Indian women in my network, so y'all go ahead and chime in. So this is a woman, Galaxy Fanatic, and she is an NRI woman. That's her flair. I don't know what that is. If you know what that is, chime in. She says, may I, as a woman, chime in? So for me personally, I don't care if a man asks for a virgin woman. It's their preference. They have the right to it. I'm not going to get into the whole hypocrisy that comes with it now. Me being a virgin, I don't care if my prospective groom is a virgin or not. Only his character matters, and that's my preference. My vice is with the men that shames women who aren't virgins. Just because you are a virgin doesn't make you a saint or pure, and a non-virgin is not dirty or unpure. I met some vile and disgusting men who are virgins, but only because women wouldn't let them come near. These are the kind of people that proves that virginity does not equal character. I hate the whole no seal, no deal propaganda because it reduces women to mere sex dolls whose worth lies in the small piece of tissue between their legs. Man of the Night Watch, this is an Indian man. He says, what we see is a resurgence in conservative talking points among men because liberalism does not have anything to offer men in exchange for what it asks of men. Instead of sticking to equality, the conversations on the liberal side became support women no matter what and empower women even if they are being regressive. For example, we see liberal women defending the practice of applying patriarchal standards on grooms, like judging heavily on salary and wealth, i.e., marrying up the economic ladder, while being defended because it counts as supporting women. But when liberal men called out the regressive nature of this support, they were bashed for whining about it. Such attitudes alienated liberal men, and that side of the gender equality movement lost steam. This indirectly allowed conservative attitudes to thrive in an atmosphere where there were no liberal men motivated enough to counter the conservative push. So that's what this Indian man says. Nero Eye says, I'm not defending it or supporting it, but I think it's an acknowledged phenomenon considering this very thing being a good turning point in the US elections this time around. The liberals, Democrats, or blue were obviously fighting for women's rights, but in the process, they insulted and bashed on men a lot. So, because they didn't coddle 50% of their population's feelings, a lot of men, especially the youth of the USA, voted for the Republicans, red. This is very telling. As important as active feminism is still needed in many parts of India, excluding and shitting on men without taking a smart approach to it is very dangerous for the progress of the society. Though I still want to note the fact that imperfect feminism is more called out and policed than blatant misogyny. That was an Indian woman, and that comment definitely rubbed me the wrong way as well. She seems kind of like a patriarchy patty, but y'all go ahead and let me know what you think of Nero Eyes. Man of the Night's Watch says imperfect feminism is more called out and policed than blatant misogyny because there is not much point in debating conservatives whose driving principle is to oppose change. Even parents give more feedback to the kid who listens than a kid who is hopeless. Critique is essential for a progressive movement. Without critique, it becomes similar to religion with all its drawbacks. And then this person says this MBFLB has created his own little world. I don't know what that means. So those dudes were whining about body count. And this woman jumped into my inbox to talk about, very triggering, another gang rape of a woman. She says, Hi, Burb. Hey, Burb, I've been following your work on YouTube for the past 2 years, and your content has educated me deeply. I'm writing because another medical student has been gang raped and left for dead in India. It shook me to my core because I'm an Indian medical student myself. What baffles me even more is people's reaction to the victim. Some sympathize and call for justice, but a growing number blame her instead. Under YouTube news videos, I've seen comments saying she deserved it for going out with a male friend or being too modern. Some even used smile emojis. And sadly, her case seems mild compared to others. The Manisha Schmurder case in the Bhiwani Haryana still, y'all gonna have to forgive me for messing up these names. The Bhiwani Haryana still haunt me. Haryana has one of India's worst sex ratios. Manisha was a teacher who wanted to become a nurse. She went to nursing school to collect an admission form and was later found in a secluded area, mutilated, internal organs removed, her face disfigured with acid so no one could recognize her. This is the level of brutality women face, especially in states like Haryana. Please forgive me again. I'm so passionate about what I do because I have women writing to me saying things like this. I'm entrusting you to help make people aware of what's happening here because we're silenced every day. Candle marches mean nothing when the judicial system protects perpetrators, the police mishandle cases, and society blames victims. I'm sick of this silence, of sweeping things under the rug to protect the reputation of my community and country, pretending this is normal. Whenever I speak about these cases, even my family and friends tell me I'm being negative and should focus on my life because it didn't happen to me. Here's what the world needs to understand about India. Number one, extreme brutality of sexual violence in India. Grape rarely stops at grape. It often ends in death because of the sheer violence involved. Victims are mutilated, tortured, and humiliated. Some have their internal organs removed, genitals destroyed, or foreign objects inserted. This level of violence isn't about sexual pleasure. It's about sadism and dominance. It reflects a collapse of empathy so profound that it borders on psychopathy, and the collapse is socially engineered. Even marital rape is common. One woman was hospitalized on her wedding night, and doctors said her injuries looked like those of a gang rape victim. Number two, societal indifference and encouragement in India remains medieval in its mindset. Violence is seen as a disciplinary tool for women, children, and minorities. Rape is used to punish women who dare to study, work, or have relationships. Even women blame other women. claiming that having a boyfriend invites grape. Banwari Devi, a Dalit woman, was raped for trying to prevent a child marriage. Another tribal girl's rapists were acquitted because the judges said she had run away with her lover. The idea that certain women deserve grape drives this epidemic. Many victims are even forced to marry their rapists to restore honor. Number three, underreporting and low conviction rates. India's rape statistics are meaningless without understanding the silence. Roughly 90% of cases go unreported due to fear, shame, and family pressure to protect honor. Families often force victims to stay quiet. Police mock victims, destroy evidence, and take bribes. Judges frequently blame women for provoking assault or force minors to carry pregnancies from rape. The conviction rate hovers around 25 to 30%, and even then, survivors are ostracized for losing their purity. Four, devaluation of women and girls. Gender-based terminations was banned in 1994, but is still rampant. Girls are rejected before their organs even form. Families often force terminations if the fetus is female. Decisions made by men, supported by older women. Women who give birth to daughters face more abuse until they produce a son. This mindset extends through life. Women who raise families, earn income, and care for elders are still seen as lesser. India's elderly women are among the most abandoned demographics, discarded by the very sons they were pressured to bear. Number five, the hypocrisy of goddess worship. Westerners often think that because Hinduism has many goddesses, India reveres women. The truth is different. The model for Indian women isn't the fierce, independent Kali or Durga, it's Sita, the obedient, self sacrificing wife. She's valued for purity, not power. Female deities are worshipped only as symbols, not as models for living women. Number six, purity and actual control. India is sexually repressed, but one of the world's largest consumers of corn. Marital rape is legal. Women are forced to bear children until they produce sons. Virginity is fetishized. No seal, no deal is a common phrase. Non-virgin women are exploited, shamed, and discarded. Some communities still demand blood-stained sheets after the wedding night to prove the bride's virginity. Activists who protest this are beaten. Number seven, patriarchy and anti-feminism. Red pill and anti-feminist movements are extremely popular among Indian men. Despite having immense social power, many portray themselves as victims. Divorce is stigmatized, so some women file cruelty cases to escape, but these are rare compared to the daily murders over dowry or infertility. Indian men expect modern traditional wives, educated and working, yet submissive and voiceless. Women who speak about misogyny are branded feminists and attacked online. Patriarchy is glorified as culture, while women are punished for any autonomy. Recently, a woman was burned alive by her husband and in laws for earning money through Instagram reels. Oh my God. All right. And she says modern traditional wives. That's something that we can definitely relate to. But the whole, man, this is a whole lot. I know this may sound like anger, but it's fear and exhaustion. I'm frightened by how indifferent Indian society has become to the suffering of its women. I'm deliberately showing only the negative side because until this rot is confronted, the positive means nothing. My hope is that the global exposure will shame India into introspection. Reputation is all this country cares about. And to Indian women, I need them to see their own conditioning. They too uphold the system that devalues their daughters. A society that rejects its girls deserves none. Absolutely. Women with some sense needs to shut it down. Leave these people alone. Get away from men. Stop even breathing the same air as these men and these patriarchy patties that uphold this. If women are oppressed and violated and face violence, of course, that is going to push them towards feminism, because feminism is working to address that, making sure that women and girls are happy, healthy, and whole. And that is precisely what the patriarchy tends to do, is to break down women and girls so that they are living in fear and controllable. Now, I was asking her, like, who are the minorities in India, but I was basically really trying to get to the bottom of this case, and she did send me a link. But she was saying that the minorities in India are the Muslims, Christians, the lower caste people, tribal people, the Dalits, the refugees, LGBTQI people in India. All of that from that Indian woman that jumped into my inbox is a lot. And these cases are terrible. They are so brutal. So three people, it says three arrested for medical students grape near Bengal hospital. Hunt on for two more. West Bengal police have arrested three men in connection with the gang rape of a medical student near the hospital. Two others remain on the run. And this just happened a couple of days ago. Here are two of the people trying to cover their faces. Why are they covering their faces? But this is what happens, though. Their government, their culture culled a bunch of girl babies, and there's just a bunch of boys left. The patriarchy says that men and boys should be able to do what they want, and girls are subservient. And so that is the reason why they had a culture that pushed for all of these boys. And now these boys, they fed into it, and they're angry, and they're taking it out on women simply for wanting to survive and get an education and work. This is deplorable. Three arrested have been identified as Sheikh Riaz Udan, Sheikh Firdash, and Apu. Two other accused are still on the run. The incident involves a second-year MBBS student of a private medical college near Shabhapar in Durgapur, approximately 170 kilometers from Kolkata. The survivor, a native of Jaleswar in Odisha, was raped late Friday evening in an area behind the hospital building. So she did survive. She is alive. But what will her physical and mental health be after going through this? These people are sociopaths. They are psychopaths. And I struggle to understand it. Okay, I'm going to end this one here. I don't need to go into the intimate details of what they did to that woman.